Hey everybody, what's up? Here's something for your guitar consideration. I always find that it's interesting to learn new chords and therefore new scales over those chords or alter existing things you might already know. I'm going to be playing an E, and I'm going to be basically around the 7th and the 9th frets. The chord is kind of a fun chord. You got this E add 9, as I would call it. You got E, G sharp, B, F sharp, and then I'm using the open B and the open E and the 6th string also. So you got this nice ambient E add 9 chord. Now that's a nice chord to play just on its own, but the idea is, with a chord like this, what would you play against it or over it? And the thing is, some of the obvious stuff would be like the major scale. So you can think of the E major scale, which is a nice easy fingering. I'm using this kind of open hand position, but this 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, and then 1, 2. All right, so there's a pattern for the E major scale, and that will, you know, sound nice over this chord that I'm talking about. And then you can expand that all the way up to the high E string. Alright, so there's E major, okay? E major scale. Pretty straightforward, kind of a common thing over that chord. Now next we can use something with this E chord, and we can actually take the 7th note, we can flatten it. Now when we flatten that note, we get a D instead of a D sharp. We're in a mode. We're actually playing what we would call Mixolydian. Mixolydian, the way you can think about it, is the major scale with a flat 7. And again, that still works nicely over this chord. You can kind of hear how that sounds with that D natural in there. And then the whole scale pattern you can play can look like this. Then you'd shift and put that D natural instead of the D sharp. So you have E Mixolydian. Like I say, I think of it as just the major scale with a flat 7. Now here's the alteration. If I take E Mixolydian and I sharp the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I put this A sharp in there. This is where I think things get kind of interesting or different or unusual in the kind of major sounding universe. So now I have this. Alright, so I got E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D natural, E. So you got this Mixolydian with a sharp 4. Alright, that's going to sound like this. Very exotic, Middle Eastern sounding maybe, with that sharp 4 and that flat 7. But then the pattern, you know, as you can see, kind of lays out like this. Alright, now that can be obviously moved to any key, and you can apply that to any major chord you want to. Easy application. Here's E major, an E major type of chord, and here's this E Mixolydian or altered Mixolydian with that sharp 4. And then the sequences are real nice, this kind of stuff. That D natural sounds real good too. So there you go. Something to think about, something to work through. Maybe you got a new chord here to mess with and a new scale idea.